As the nations which the Most High destroyeth before your face, so shall ye perish, because ye would not be obedient unto the voice of the Lord your God, which is the Most High thy power. All right. So in continuation, let's go to chapter 30, still in the book of Deuteronomy. Okay, so once again, we're in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30. And I'm going to start at verse 15. And it reads, and also just to point out, as right here in the month of September, the new moon, which is coming up, is going to be on the 25th. So I believe that falls on a Sunday. So if you're following the lunar Sabbath, then you can actually keep that. If you're working a Monday through Friday 9 to 5 type of job, if you're employed, then you can actually keep this Sabbath right here, right? But the next month in October, I think it said it's going to be on a Tuesday. Okay, so just like I said before, if you're working a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, how are you going to keep the next month's Sabbath? Are you going to tell your boss or your supervisor that you need every single Tuesday off for that month? I don't think so. When you already have Saturday and Sunday off, they're not going to give you every Tuesday off too, right? So you're going to be fired for that, man. That's unrealistic to say that you're keeping that Sabbath and you're working Monday through Friday, man, right? So once again, I digress. In continuation, we're in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30, and I'm going to start at verse 15, and it reads, and that I command thee this day to love the Most High thy power, to walk in his ways, and to keep his commandments and his statutes and his judgments. Okay, meaning that you have to judge your nation when they're in sin, man. Okay, you have to make righteous judgments. When you see your people going off, you have to judge them and let them know that they're in sin. Okay, that's how you keep the Most High's judgments, right? That thou mayest live and multiply, and the Most High thy power shall bless thee in the land whither thou goest to possess it. Okay, so the Most High is going to bless you if you're actually judging your people in righteousness, man. And not only that, you're keeping his other laws, statutes, commandments, and his ordinances to the best of your ability, right? Verse 17. But if thine heart turned away, so that thou wilt not hear, but shall be drawn away and worship what other gods. Okay, so just like it said earlier in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 8, if you're worshiping other gods, right, and serve them. Okay, unfortunately what our people do, they serve Buddha, they serve Allah and Muhammad, they serve the image of the beast in religious churchianity, right, Virgin Mary in Roman and Catholicism. They're in these secret societies serving Hashatan himself, the spiritual Hashatan, right? They're in these Greco-Roman ancient Greek fraternities worshiping their gods. Okay, so this is how you worship other gods, man. You're in African spirituality, worshiping your ancestors, right? That's classified as necromancy in the scriptures, man. And according to the book of Leviticus, that's a sin. You're not supposed to be worshiping your ancestors, man. Your deceased ancestors. They don't even know you. They're in the spiritual realm, right? They don't even know who you are. How can they determine and direct you where to go in your life, man, in the land of the living? Okay, that's a sin. You're not supposed to be doing that, man, right? But shall be drawn away and worship other gods and serve them. Verse 18. I denounce unto you this day in the year 2022, right, and beyond, that ye shall surely perish and that ye shall not prolong your days upon the land, meaning upon the earth, right? Whether thou passest over Jordan to go and possess it, right? When you pass over Jordan to go and possess it, that's going eastward of Israel and Jerusalem, right? Into the Asian manner, so to speak. Verse 19, I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians of Negroid descent. The Most High is calling heaven and earth to record against you, man. That I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both thou and thy seed, which is your descendants, your children and your children's children and your children's children, right? That they may live. Okay, so this is your so-called free will. Okay, in the scriptures, man, right? We have the choice to do whatever we want, but the Most High, he sort of urges us to choose life, to choose righteousness, to keep his ways, okay, since we're his chosen people, his chosen peculiar people, right? So this is the way that he directs us to go. Just like it says in the book of Proverbs, train up a child in the way they should go, not in the way that you want them to go. Okay, so this is what the Most High is doing with us. He's our Heavenly Father. He's our God, man. He's our power. He's directing us to choose life, which is his way. Okay, but at the same time, he still gives you the choice and the ability to choose whichever way you want to go. That's why he says this right here, man. I have set before you life and death, blessing and what? Cursing. Therefore choose life. He didn't say, therefore I force you to choose life, or I urge you to choose life, but he's leaving that option open. Hey, if you want to preserve yourself on the land, so that you can see your children and your children's children and see them prosper, choose my way. If not, then you're going to be X'd out of the land, right? That both thou and thy seed may live. Okay, so of course, if you die, your seed gonna die. What is seed? Seed is short for semen, okay, which is in your scrotum, so to speak. So if you die, of course, that's gonna die. So, but if you live, your seed is gonna live also, so that you can bear children. Okay. Let's go to the book of Numbers, chapter 14. Okay, so once again, we're in the book of Numbers, chapter 14. And I'm going to start at verse 1, and it reads, And all the congregation lifted up their voice and cried, and the people wept that night. Verse 2. And the children of Israel murmured against Moses and against Aaron, and the whole congregation said unto them, With the Most High power that we had died in the land of Egypt, or would the Most High power we had died in this wilderness? So they're questioning Moses and Aaron because, they're leading the congregation when they was in the wilderness, right? So they're asking them like, yo, what's going on? Why didn't the Most High just take us out in Egypt if he just brought us out here to the wilderness to kill us? He could have just done that in Egypt, right? Verse 3. And wherefore hath the Most High brought us onto this land to fall by the sword? The sword is a symbol of destruction, right? That our wives and our children should be prey. Were it not be better for us to return to Egypt? So they're telling Moses and Aaron like, yo, Even though the Most High have destroyed Egypt for us and we're no longer in bondage and captivity, I think it'd be better off for us to go back to Goshen, go back to Egypt. You know what I'm saying? Because we out here in this wilderness and it's not looking good. You know what I'm saying? We don't see a bright future out here. I don't see what's going to become of this, right? Verse 5. Then Moses and Aaron fell on their faces before all the assembly of the congregation of the children of Israel, and Joshua the son of Nun, and Caleb the son of Junahith, which of them that were searched the land rent their clothes, meaning that they tore their clothes in half, they rent it in two, right? Verse 7. And they spake unto all the company of the children of Israel, saying, the land which we passed through to search it is an exceeding good land. Okay, so that's what Joshua and Caleb told Moses and Aaron, like the land that the Most High have promised us that we're going to go to. It's great. You know what I'm saying? It's an exceeding great land, right? It's fruitful, Verse 8. If the Most High delight in us, then we will bring us into this land. Okay, so they're telling Moses and Aaron and the congregation of Israel, if the Most High have delight in us, if he see that we're obedient and we're deserving of this land, he's going to bring us into this land that's very fruitful, right? And give it us a land which floweth with milk and honey. Verse 9. Only rebel not ye against the Most High, neither fear ye the people of the land, for they are bread for us. Their defense is departed from them, and the Most High power is with us. Fear them not. So this is what the Most High is also saying to us today. For us not to fear the people of the land, man. Don't fear your oppressors, right? Don't fear those who hate you, because the Most High is with us, man. But he's only with you if you're coming back to him in repentance and serving him and keeping his ways, man, right? You can't be a sinner out here if you're within our nation of people and saying that the Most High is with you. You're going to be confounded. You're going to be sadly mistaken, right? And you're going to come to find that he's not with you, because you're not doing nothing he says. You're not keeping his law, statutes, and commandments. So how can you send up a prayer to the Most High, the God of the Bible, the God of the Israel, which is of so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians of Negroid descent only? How can you send up a prayer to the Most High and you're not doing anything he say? That's like your own kid. How can you bless your kid with a gift or treat them nice and kind if they're not doing anything you say? They just being totally disobedient to you, man. Right? Even you wouldn't treat your child that way, right? So this is what the Most High is doing. He is our Father, man. He's our Heavenly Father. So we have to do what he says in order for him to bless us and treat us good, right? Verse 10. But all the congregation bade stone them with stones. So this is an unruly people within our nation of people. These are the sinners. These are the non-believers, the so-called 2/3, right? Verse 10 again from the top. But all the congregation bade, meaning, they enchanted, right? Stoned them with stones. And the glory of the Most High power appeared in the tabernacle of the congregation before all the children of Israel. Verse 11. And the Most High said unto Moses, how long will this people provoke me? So this is what our people are doing now, man. They are provoking the Most High to wrath, man. Right? That's the reason why you see all of our people are being judged, man. Being shot down in the streets like dogs, man. They're the last hired, the first fired. They're the most oppressed. Living in a two-tier system, man. Right? A second-hand society. All right? The bottom of the totem pole. And the only way that we're going to live like the other nations if we sell out and cop out to their gods, right? We start worshiping Allah. We start worshiping Buddha, right? Madhava, Krishna, Shiva, right? The image of the beast mainly in religious Christianity. Virgin Mary in Roman Catholicism, right? The only way that we're going to live like them if we join their secret societies, right? Their fraternities and sororities. Okay, this is what our people are going on doing today, man. So this is what's provoking the Most High to wrath and anger against his people, which is the children of Israel, man, right? And the Most High Power said unto Moses, how long will this people provoke me? And how long will it be ere they believe me? For all the signs which I have shewed among them. So the Most High saying, yo, I brought you out of Egypt, man, right? I spread it, the Red Sea for you to pass through. I gave you manna and water from the flint of the rock and quails when there was no sight of them at all. I gave this to all of y'all, man, and you still don't believe me, and you want to rebel and provoke me to anger, right? This is what the Most High is saying, right? And how long will it be ere they believe me? For all the signs which I have shewed among them, verse 12, I will smite them with the pestilence. Okay, what is the pestilence? The disease, okay? The virus that's going on right now. That's the reason why a lot of our people, unfortunately, are falling to this virus, man. They're dying daily from this stuff right here. But it's just not being broadcasted on the national news or all throughout social media because it's shadow banning going on. There's gag orders going on, right? How come none of these people that so-called have this not coming forth speaking on it, right? There should be tons of videos all over social media speaking about this, man. But no one's saying nothing at all, right? I mean, you got to think something is funny with that, man, right? Nowhere on social media, nowhere in the nightly news, the national news, nowhere in the newspapers, the tabloids, whatever you want to call it. You don't see no one speaking on this, man, right? But through the Spirit, you know, if you're a spiritual person, if you're serving the Most High and he's giving you that spirit of discernment, you know through the Spirit that something's going on, man. But people are giving gag orders. They're shadow banned. They're probably threatened. Their well-being is threatened. Something's going to happen to them. I don't know. Maybe they go to jail or something if they say something about it, you know. And this is what's going on. So that's the reason why people aren't speaking up on this, man. Right? So basically they're suffering in silence, right? I will smite them with the pestilence and disinherited them, right? Meaning that he's going to uproot you from your land, right? You're not even going to be considered his chosen people anymore because you're disobedient, right? And will make of thee a greater nation and mightier than they. Verse 14, and Moses said unto the Most High, then the Egyptians shall hear it, for thou broughtest up this people in thy might from among them. Right, so that's letting you know that the Most High haven't destroyed all of Egypt. You know, there were still some Egyptians there. He just destroyed the army, the military of the pharaohs, you know, because they was the ones that was coming after the children of Israel, looking to bring them back in captivity. So he destroyed them. He didn't destroy the whole Egypt, right, as it says right here. And Moses said unto the Most High, then the Egyptians shall hear it, for thou broughtest up this people in thy might from among them. Verse 14, and they will tell it to the inhabitants of this land, which is the Canaanites, right? For they have heard that the Most High Power art among this people, and that thou art seen face to face, and that thy cloud standeth over them, and that thou goest before them by daytime, and a pillar of a cloud, and in a pillar of fire by night. Verse 15. Now, if thou shalt kill all this people as one man, then the nations which have heard the fame of thee will speak, saying, because the Most High was not able to bring this people into the land which he sware unto their forefathers, therefore he have slain them in the wilderness. Right? So Moses and Aaron, they're saying to the Most High, like, yo, you know, don't forget all of the things that you have done for us. Yeah, I acknowledge that you brought us out of Egypt. Unfortunately, they don't. But if you were to destroy all of us out here, then the other nations is going to hear it, right? And they're going to know that the Most High isn't with us, and then they can come and bring us back into captivity, right? So this, like I said before, I even made a video concerning this, titled, only when you're in sin can your enemies come and destroy you, right? According to the biblical scripture, whenever we went off and start sinning, that's when the other nations came and brought us into captivity, man. This as we are today, because all of our people are in sin. We idolaters. We're breaking all of the laws of the Most High. We don't care to keep the ordinances. We don't care to keep the seventh-day Sabbath holy, the true seventh-day Sabbath, right? So that's the reason why we're in captivity, man, right? Verse 17, and now I beseech thee, let the power of my Lord, which is the Most High power, be great according as thou hast spoken, saying, the Most High is long-suffering and of great mercy, forgiving iniquity and transgression. What is iniquity and transgression? That's sin. What is sin? Of course, right here is just written, the transgression of the Most High's law, statutes, commandments, right? And by no means clearing the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children onto the third and fourth generation, meaning that the Most High is going to revisit you when he regenerates you and bring you back into this world, your spirit in a different body. Then he's going to judge you for that. That's going to be your judgment after your death. Okay, so you're going to come back through the seed lineage of your children, which is through your sons, right? Because your sons carry your seed. Your daughters is your seed too, but when they marry someone else, their child is going to carry the seed of the man that she married, right? But your sons carry your seed. So when you're regenerated back into the world, you're going to be regenerated back through your son's lineage, right? And that's when you're going to receive your judgment. Like, say, for instance, your great-granddad that's on your dad's side, right? When he come back into this world, he's going to come through your seed if he's a boy. Okay, and then that's when he's going to receive the judgment of the Most High. That's why he says this right here, right? Visiting the iniquities of the fathers upon the children, okay, onto the third and fourth generation. All right, so that's your regeneration and the scriptures right there for those who don't believe in it, right? Let's go to the book of Leviticus, chapter 23. Okay, so once again, we're in the book of Leviticus, chapter 23. And I'm going to start at verse 1. And it reads, and the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, which is the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians of Negroid descent only, right? And say unto them, concerning the feast of the Most High power, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations. Even these are my feasts. Verse 3. 6 days, okay, from Sunday to Friday, 6 days shall work be done. But on the seventh day is the Sabbath of rest, a holy convocation. Ye shall do no work, okay, therein. It is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God, your power in all your dwellings, meaning wherever you're at in this world, on the Most High power green earth. The seventh day is your day to keep holy as a seventh day rest, man. All right, no matter where you're at. You could be in North Korea, right? You could be in China. You can be in Russia, Moscow, right? You got to be keeping this seventh day Sabbath, man. If you call yourself truly keeping the law, statutes, the commandments of the Most High and believing in Christ, man, right? That goes for all of you so-called Christians, man. You got to keep this day holy. right? Even if you say Sunday is your rest day, right? You're not keeping it holy as you should. You're still doing all of your pleasures during that Sunday. You're still cooking abominable. You're making all sorts of pork, roast duck, shrimp, lobster, crab, octopus, catfish sandwiches, right? You're doing all of this abomination, man. You're still going out. You're going to the movies. You're going to friends' house. You're playing cards, music, all of this other stuff, man. All of these things that you're not supposed to be doing during the Sabbath, but you call Sunday your Sabbath, man. And you're not even obeying that, right? So that just goes to show you the mentality of these so-called Christians, right? So that's the reason why I just call them churchgoers. That's all they are. They just go to church and pretend to be holier than thou, but they're really, truly not following the Most High as they should, man, right? And that's not to down them or degrade them or disrespect them. That's just saying that they're truly not serving the Most High as they should, right? So once again, that's letting you know that the Sabbath is on the seventh day, man, right? So let's go to the book of Enoch, right? In which a lot of brothers and sisters don't read, really. But we're going to go to the book of Enoch, and we're going to bring out something there in chapter 78. And once again, this is your brother AhYahShaRahChazaq from the Sea Souls of Israel, the Rocks of Offense, and also the ambassadors for righteousness, the restorers of paths, and the repairers of the breach, and the advocates for Christ. Once again, dropping you another video. Hopefully that is enjoyable. Hopefully that is edifying thus far. Once again, we're going to go to the book of Enoch, chapter 78. And we're going to start at verse 3. And it reads, "These are the two great luminaries. Their circumference is like the circumference of the heaven, and the size of the circumference of both is alike." Okay, the size of the circumference is both alike. So just as it shows here, like I showed before, the greater light and the lesser light, which is the sun and the moon, as you can see here, they are the same size, right? They just have different densities of heat and light, all right, and which we're about to get into here in the book of Enoch, right? Verse 4. "In the circumference of the sun, there are 7 portions of light, which are added to it more to the moon." Okay, so that's letting you know there are 7 more portions of light added to the sun, right? "And in definite measures, it is transferred till the 7th portion of the sun is exhausted." Okay, so that's like the sunset. The portions of the sun is its trip through the sky, you know, through the north, right? So when it's in the 7th portion, that's during the sunset, right? During the dusk. Verse 5. "And they set," okay, that's also letting you know that that's the sunset, right? "And they set and enter to the portals of the west." Okay, so where does the sun set? It sets in the west, right? In the western portal. "And make their revolution by the north, and come forth through the eastern portals on the face of the heaven." Okay, so that's letting you know when the sun rises, where does it rise? It rises in the east, right? So it comes out of the eastern portals, and then it makes its trip through the portions of the heavens, and then when it's exhausted in the west, that's when it sets in the western portals, right? Verse 6. "And when the moon rises, 1/14 part appears in the heaven. The light becomes full in her. On the 14th day, she is accomplished her light." Okay, so right here, it's letting you know it takes 14 days, right, for the moon to become full, right? So as I'm going to show you right here, in this month right here, right? If you count the days from the new moon, okay, it's going to let you know that that's 14 days, right? As it says here. The 25th is the new moon, right? And then you have here the 28th, 1st, 27th, 2nd, 28th, 3rd, 29th, 4th, 35th, right? And then you have October 1st right here, which is the 6th day, okay? Let me make sure. All right, that's Saturday, right? And then we got Sunday, which is the 2nd right here, right at the top. 7, 3rd, 8, 4, 9, 5, 10, 6, 11, 7, 12, 8, 13, and then right here, Sunday is the 14th day. Okay? So the book of Enoch, it validates the Gregorian calendar in which we follow today. It takes 14 days for the moon to go from new to full. All right? So this right here validates it. So for the people who say, oh, I don't follow the Gregorian calendar, it's the Roman calendar. Well, the book of Enoch, if you follow in the book of Enoch, it validates the 14-day count from the new moon to the half moon. So whether you want to or not, this because it's a Roman calendar, everything still circulates around this Gregorian calendar in time frame, man, right? And it validates it right here, as it says here again. Verse 6 in the book of Enoch, chapter 78. And when the moon rises, 1/14th part appears in the heaven. Okay, 1/14, that means the crescent, right? And then it says, the light becomes full in her on their what? The 14th day. She accomplished her light, meaning she becomes full. Okay, it didn't say new, it said full, right? Verse 7. And 15 parts of the light are transferred to her till the 15th day, when her light is accomplished according to the sign of the year. And she becomes 15th parts, and the moon grows by the addition of 14 parts. Okay, so that's letting you know how the moon accumulates her light, right? Verse 8. And in her waning, okay, so just to let you know when the waning is, that's when she's starting to decrease in her light, right? As it says here, you can look up some pictures here, from the left to the right. That's when she's in the waxing stage. If you look up the definition of waxing, that means, to build, to become firm, to get stronger, right? So when she's in the waxing stage, she's gaining her light from the left to the right, right? But then she becomes full. And then on the right side of her, that's when she's in her waning stages. Okay, so that's when she's decreasing her light. All right. So in continuation, as it says, and in her waning, the moon decreases on the first day to the 14th part of her light. The 14th part is the crescent, as it shows right here on the right side. That's the crescent, right? Or you could say on the left side. Okay, during the ending stages of the crescent, it looks like how it looks on the left side. But when she's beginning to gain back her light again, it looks like how it looks on the right side here. Okay, that's the waxing stages on the right side. On the 2nd to the 13th part of the light. On the 3rd to the 12th part. Okay, so as a matter of fact, just to verify this once again, we're going to go back to a calendar. We're going to go back to September here. And the full moon is, as you can see here, was Saturday, right? So we're going to count it down from the book of Enoch, just to verify that, right? So in continuation, as it says, on the first day to 14 parts of a light, right? So that's on the 11th right here, as it says here, right? On the second to the 13th part of a light, right? So that's talking about Monday. On the 3rd to the 12th, and on the 4th to the 11th, all right? What is the 4th day? The 4th day is Wednesday, okay? That's the 14th, okay? On the 4th to the 11th, right? On the 5th, which is the Thursday to the 10th, all right? So Thursday right there, the 15th. On the 6th to the 9th, okay, which is the 6th day of the week, which is the preparation day. That's the 16th, right? Friday. On the 6th to the 9th, okay, and on the 7th to the 8th, okay, that's the half moon there, which is on the 7th day of the week, the 7th. Now watch this right here. See how it switched, right? And on the 8th to the 7th, okay, so now she's in the waning stages, which is the 18th, right? So notice how it switched in the book of Enoch. It says right here, right? On the 5th to the 10th, and on the 6th to the 9th, and on the 7th to the 8th, all right? Now here's the switch. And on the 8th to the 7th, okay, so now it's in the waning stages, it's going back. And on the 9th to the 6th, okay, there you have it, 19th, right? And on the 10th to the 5th, and on the 11th to the 4th, and on the 12th to 3, and on the 13th to 2, and on the 14th to the half of a 7th, okay? So that's letting you know right there that that's the crescent, right? There you have it, which is the 24th, okay? There you have it. Salaki, I'm trying to like look at this calendar and look at the book of Enoch and still continue where I left off, right? On the 12th to the 3, and on the 13th to the 2, and on the 14th to the half of the 7th, okay? And all her remaining light disappears wholly on the 15th, okay, which is Sunday. That's when she becomes the new moon, right? So that's letting you know there when the moon is new and it's not full, right? It don't say anything about this right here being a full moon. It's letting you know when the moon is back to the new moon, which is the dark moon, as it says right here, right? Once again, on the 12th to the 3, the 13th to the 2, on the 14th to half of a 7th, and all her remaining light disappears wholly on the 15th. Verse 9, and in certain months, the month has 29 days, and once 28 days, okay? So that's letting you know, which is verifying this calendar here, that there are 28 days in a month, which is February, like it says here, and once 28 days, okay? So that's letting you know that the month of February is validated in the book of Enoch, right? In continuation, and the Spirit showed me another law, when the light is transferred to the moon, and on which side it is transferred by her to her by the sun. Okay, so that's letting you know during the waxing stage, right? As you can see here on this diagram of the month of October, which is the 27th, that's when the sun, it sort of regenerates, it sort of kickstarts the moon when the light shines himself upon her, you know, when she's coming out of the new moon phases, right? So the sun sort of, it sort of kickstarts her, right? As it shows here. When you're looking at the right side of this right here, that's during this verse right here, right? when it says this, verse 10, and the Spirit showed me another law, which is a commandment of the Most High himself, right, for the moon and the sun. When the light is transferred to the moon, and on which side it is transferred to her by the sun. Okay, so that's also letting you know that the sun and the moon is a he and a she, right? They're sort of working together as a marriage. So in order for the moon to get her light regenerating back again, you know, the sun, which is the man, right, her husband, her companion, so to speak, right, it's generating the moon and the waxing stages, the beginning waxing stages, and that's how, you know, from that point on, she began to illuminate herself from there. So even with the sun and the moon, man, you have to have a man to sort of give you, you know, the kickstart. You know, he got to give you the encouragement to get things going as a woman, right? So, you know, this is not to be taken for face value for the sun and the moon only. This is also for a marriage between a man and a woman. You know, that woman have to have a man to sort of encourage her, you know, to uplift her when she's down. You know what I'm saying? To be there for her, to be a shoulder for her to cry on, you know, when she needs to vent, right? So this is perfect harmony, perfect matrimony, not only between the sun and the moon, but also between a man and a woman in marriage, man, right? Verse 11. During all the period during which the moon is growing in her light, okay, so that's also to let you know, just like I said, you know, after that kickstart from the sun given to the moon, then she starts to grow in her own light, her own illumination, right? She is transferring it to herself. When opposite to the sun, during the 14 days, her light is accomplished in the heaven, meaning that she's going to be back full in 14 days, right? We pretty much already did the calculation looking at the calendar, right? And when she is illuminated throughout, her light is accomplished full in the heaven, okay? It don't say anything about her being new in the heaven. It says she is accomplished full in the heaven, meaning that she is a full moon, as it shows here in the middle of this right here, right? Just like this right here, just like this right here, right? And on the first day, she is called the new moon. And on that day, the light rises upon her, meaning that she's going to become back into her waxing stages, right? So a lot of people may read this right here, being that it's the next verse over. They're going to say, oh, well, look, you know, see, the full moon is called the new moon, right? But there's sort of a slight change there, right? If you read it, right? Starting from verse 11 again, it says this. During all the period during which the moon is growing in her light, she is transferring it to herself. When opposite to the sun, right? So when the moon is full, you can see the moon and the sun, they're almost adjacent to each other. Like when the sun is setting, you're going to see the moon rising, right, in the east. And then when the moon is going back down, you're going to see the sun coming back up in the east. So it's sort of like adjacent to each other, but you can still see the both of them in the sky at the same time, right? She is transferring it to herself when opposite to the sun during the 14 days, her light is accomplished in the heaven. So that's letting you know only during a full moon, you're going to see that adjacentness to one another, right, between the sun and the moon. And when she is illuminated throughout, her light is accomplished full in the heaven. Now here's the switch. And on the first day, okay, it didn't say during that time, right? It said, and on the first day, she is called the new moon, for on that day, the light rises upon her. So this is where in the Islamic faith, you get them keeping the crescent moon, because right here it says the light is rising upon her. So obviously, being that it says this, you're going to have to see some kind of illumination from the moon, right? Whether it's a little bit of light or a crescent. So that's the reason why the people of the Islamic faith, they say that the crescent is the new moon instead of a full dark moon. But according to the biblical scriptures, when the moon is full, as in fully dark or submerged in the waters of the heaven, that's when it's a full moon, a new moon, so to speak, right? For on that day, the light rises upon her, verse 13. She becomes full exactly on the day when the sun sets in the west, and from the east she rises. Okay, so this, like I said, in the east she rises, right? So you're going to see the sun setting and you're going to see the moon rising in the east, right? I actually have a picture of that too, but it's in my photos, you know what I'm saying? It's like a lot of pictures to go through, so I can't really show it, but you can also Google it and see how sometimes the moon will be in the sky at the same time as the sun, when the sun is going down and the moon is rising in the east, right? Verse 13 from the top again. She becomes full exactly on the day when the sun sets in the west, and from the east she rises at night, and the moon shines the whole night, though till the sun rises over against her, and the moon is seen over against the sun. So that means like when the sun is rising again in the east and the moon is setting in the west, that's when you're going to see them in the sky together again, right? When the moon is full. And you notice when the moon is full, it shines all throughout the night, right? Only during the crescents, during the waning and the waxing stages, you're not going to see the moon fully throughout the night. You only see the moon fully throughout the night all the way into the morning when she's full, right? Verse 14. On the side whence the light of the moon comes forth, there again she wanes, okay, meaning that she's going to decrease in the light, till all the light vanishes, and all the days of the month are at an end. Okay, so that's also letting you know right here that that's the new month, man, when she's in her waning stages, and all the light, right, as it says here, till all the light vanishes, and all the days of the month are at the end, okay, when the light vanishes, and her circumference is empty, void of light. Okay, so that's also letting you know right there that the new moon is the full moon, which is the fully dark moon, not the full moon, man, right? So that goes to show for all of the people who's keeping a full bright moon as the new moon, that's not the new moon, man. Okay, and for those who's following the lunar Sabbath, that's letting you also know that at the beginning of the month is when she is completely dark. So this, like I said before, you know, looking at this right here, you know, looking at the month of October, you know, Salakia, you can't see this right here. The new moon falls on the 25th, right? And then in November, it falls on the 27th, right? So let's go to October and November. All right. See right here in October, as you can see here, it's the 25th with the yellow circle in the middle, right? That's letting you know that that's the fully new moon. So that's actually a work day. Oh, Salaki, it's Tuesday, right? So Tuesday is a work day. Okay, so for those who's, just like I said, if you have your own thing going, then you can actually keep this the way it's supposed to be kept. But that's not the story for most people in the faith. A lot of us have jobs that's working Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, or so on and so forth. So if you're keeping this lunar Sabbath and you're working, then obviously you're truly not, because you're not going to tell your boss that you need to take Monday off too, and you just had Saturday and Sunday off. You're truly not keeping the Sabbath. You know, you might be lying to us or something, man. I don't know. Right? Or unless you don't have a job. If you don't have a job, then you can keep the Sabbath properly too, according to the new moon. Okay? But if you're going off the sun, just like I said, I'm not knocking that too, you know, because from sunset to sunset is a whole day, right? But you still have to count that to the new moon. Okay? And then when that new moon comes, which is the fully dark moon, that's your very first day. But what day is that going to fall on? Just like right here in November, see, the new moon falls on a Wednesday. Okay, so if you want to count from, say, the first day of this month, right? Technically, the first day of the month is the 23rd, according to this calendar here. But the first day of the Gregorian calendar is right here, Tuesday. So, if you're counting from sunset to sunset all the way into the new moon, now you got to start your Sabbath, which is right here on the Wednesday, which is the first day of the month. So now you're going to have to tell your boss, if you're working Monday through Friday, hey, I need Wednesdays off for this whole entire month. No, that boss is not going for that, man. Your supervisor is not going for that. If you have Saturday and Sunday off, why would he give you every Wednesday off too? That's 3 days a week. He don't need you. He can find somebody else that's going to work a full Monday through Friday week, man. Right? So some of us need to be honest with each other. Are you really keeping the Sabbath? Or are you just saying that just to down someone who's keeping a Friday to Saturday Sabbath? Right? And just like I said, there's all sorts of historical, tangible evidence that proves that the true Sabbath, which is the seventh day of the week, right, was changed from Saturday to Sunday through the Council of Nicaea in 321 AD, as it says right here, man. If you count Sunday to Saturday, that's 7 days, right? Saturday is engraved with red because that's the seventh day of the week. Okay, and then I just proved to you through the Enochian calendar, the count of the new moons and the days between the new moons and the full moons, it matches up with today's Gregorian calendar, man. So just like I said before, you can, hoop and holler, oh, I don't keep the Gregorian calendar. I don't keep this time. I follow the Enochian calendar, the ancient times of the Hebrews. But everything still revolves around this calendar, man. And ain't nothing you can do about it. Right? So who's keeping it 100? Are you really keeping the Sabbath? Because even if you keeping the sunset to sunset by the sun, or if you keeping it through the lunar Sabbath count, it's still going to switch every single day, every month. It's going to switch to different days. So you can't say that you still working on your 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, and you keeping the Sabbath the way it's supposed to be kept, which is through the sun and the moon. You can't say that, man. Right? But it's like I brung out in the book of Genesis and also in the book of Deuteronomy, the Sabbath is on the seventh day. Actually, as it says right here too in the book of Exodus, chapter 20. It's on the seventh day. And then when you look at this calendar, Sunday to Saturday is 7 days, man. Right? So I can't stress that enough. So this, like I said, I'm making this video for this brother, who says that Tuesday and Wednesday is the true Sabbath, but prove it. Prove through historical facts and artifacts and tangible evidence that the true Sabbath was on a Tuesday, man. Instead of going off the book of Genesis, chapter 1, and the book of Jubilees, the second chapter, in which we will get to right now, as a matter of fact, that the Sabbath is on the fourth day because the Most High created the sun, moon, and the stars on that day, man. And that's not true. He said the seventh day is his rest, man, right? So let's get to the book of Jubilees, chapter 2. Okay, so here we go. We're in the book of Jubilees, chapter 2. And I'm going to start at verse 2. And it reads, For on the first day he created the heavens, which are above, and the earth, and the waters, and all the spirits which serve before him, the angels, okay, which is the messengers, right, of the presence, and the angels of the sanctification. All right, so the Most High is also letting you know that he have messengers that's of the presence, of just messengers that's just here, they just existing And then he have messengers, which is of the sanctification, which is on the right hand side of him, right? And the angels of the spirit of the fire, and the angels, and of the spirit of the winds, and the angels of the spirit of the clouds, and of the darkness, and of snow, and of hail, of hoar frost, and the angels of the voices, and of the thunder, and of the lightning. Okay, so this is the reason why so-called pagans, you know, they think that all of the creations have spirits. You know, they're their own gods, right? But right here it's letting you know that the Most High created all of this, even the spirit and the driving force and the law that he given them to follow his commands is all created by the Most High. They're not their own gods, right? You don't have a moon god, you don't have a sun god, you don't have a wind god, you don't have a lightning and thunder god, right? But this is what the pagans think, man, right? And the angels of the spirits of the cold and of the heat, and of winter, and of spring, and of autumn, and of summer, and of all the spirits of his creatures which are in the heavens and on the earth. So that's talking about the birds, and that's talking about the mammals on the earth, right? He created, okay, which is in parentheses. So that's letting you know that the Most High created all things, man, right? This is not talking about some science or Scientology